Mr. Brown is like, do you have any of them refrigerated cinnamon rolls we can have for breakfast in the morning? I'm like, no, I don't. So anyways, this is going to be a recipe. We're going to throw it together really fast. Number one, I have a video with some really good cinnamon rolls. It just takes, well, one of them was my lunch lady hot roll recipe. And if you haven't seen that, just go to the search bar, type in Whippoorwill Holler, lunchroom lady hot rolls, and it'll come up. And that's what we would make our cinnamon rolls with. And I also have my grandma's, her buttery, really tender, good hot roll recipe too. And I've got a video on that, and that makes wonderful cinnamon rolls. But, okay, Mr. Brown, he doesn't like anything really yeasty. So, what do? We have to either, you can't really cut the yeast down because you're not going to have the rise that you really need. So, what else do you do? Well, I'll tell you what you do. And there are people out there that don't like yeast, or they could be allergic to yeast. So this is a really good recipe. So what this is, it's a biscuit cinnamon roll. And what I've done is used bisquik. I've always got a box of bisquik, and I don't use it very often. In fact, I have to really store it good so it doesn't get weevils in it because I don't use it enough. But there's just times that you just need that little bit of help. And yes, Miss Lori does need that help every so often. But anyway, and I will put a recipe down below with the cinnamon roll recipe for making your own biscuit mix too. Because that's really handy to have, especially when you're in a hurry. But these are really good cinnamon rolls. Like I said, there's no yeast in them, and they're quick. So we're going to throw them together for Mr. Brown in the morning, and I think he's really going to like them. I'm always telling y'all we're going to whip this up pretty quick, and we are. We've got 2 1/4 cups of bisquik baking mix, and I will have the recipe for homemade bisquik down the description box. And I've got 2/3 cups of buttermilk, and that's all you're going to have. You're going to mix this up really good. Now this is going to seem a little bit dry, but it's going to come together, and going to come together and make a pretty good dough ball. Won't be real sticky. You see how it's coming together. And that's how easy that dough is to get together. Like I said, I'm going to put a recipe in the description box for making homemade bisquik baking mix. That saves money too. And I got my little cotton towel here. Y'all see me rolling out dough on my little cotton, what I call tea towels. It's just, it works really good. It's what my granny always done. You're just going to bring that dough ball out here. And I'm going to get just a little bit more mix on my hand. You can go ahead and get a little more baking mix, or you can even get you just a little bit of regular flour. Either way, it's going to work to roll your dough in. Now, you don't want to work it too much, but you can just kind of knead it and pat around on it a little bit. Because y'all know that I like working with the dough. I like to play in it. Mush it around a little bit. But you don't want to mess with it too much and make it tough though. And we're just going to kind of pat it out. I'm going to put just a little bit more flour on there. Now you want to roll this out to about a 8 by 12 rectangle. And I'm going to get my rolling pin real quick. This ain't going to take long. It rolls out really easy. You don't have to fight it like you do sometimes your yeast dough. You're just going to roll it out just like you would biscuits. You want to roll it out to about a
1/4 of an inch thick. About an 8 by 12 rectangle, give or take. It's as good as you can do. And this would be easy for young adults, for kids that want to get in there and do some cooking. Make some cinnamon rolls. This is a really easy recipe. And it's really good too. It comes together really quick when you're wanting to make it up for breakfast. And Mr. Brown likes them because they're not yeasty tasting. So, we got our dough rolled out. I've got a couple tablespoons of butter. I'm just going to take it with my spoon. I'm just going to take my time and just kind of spread it around. Now you can pour this whole thing on here and spread it. You can use a brush, whatever you want to do. I'm just taking my time because I really enjoy doing this. I really enjoy working with dough, whether it's just bread, hot rolls, cinnamon rolls, whatever. It's just something I enjoy doing. It's very therapeutic, I guess. So just get that all smeared around. And I've got a 1/3 cup of brown sugar and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. And we're just kind of smush them around a little bit. Blend them up good. Because we're going to take this and we're going to sprinkle it all over the top of the butter. And we're going to leave about a couple tablespoons in the bowl because I like to sprinkle a little bit on top of my cinnamon rolls when I get them cutting in my pan. So just put you a good layer on top of your butter. And there's another thing you can do too. You can put some pie filling on top of this, like apple pie filling. And there's my couple of tablespoons I left in there. And just kind of smear them around. That'd be good. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to take our towel, just kind of fold that over like that, and then we're going to bring it to me, just kind of roll it towards you. Now it's not going to be a big old fat roll, but they'll rise a little bit. They'll do good when we get them cut. Okay, I've got my greased iron skillet here, and I'm going to cut, I usually get about 7 rolls, about 1.5 inch thick. It's usually what it ends up being. And I'm just going to take them, put them in my pan, just kind of smush them down just a little. Because like I said, they're gonna bake up and rise and fill out the pan. And if you want, you could make like 5 bigger cinnamon rolls if you wanted to, instead of 7. So just get them in your pan. Now I've got one more thing I'm going to do to these. It's really going to bring them over the top. Going to make them really good and tender and just really good. Okay, to take these over the top just a little bit, we're going to sprinkle the rest of the brown sugar and cinnamon over the top. And that, when it cooks up, is going to make it just a little bit more ooey and gooey with that brown sugar on there. Now, I've got a 1/4 of a cup, a 1/3 of a cup. It's a 1/3 of a cup of heavy cream. And we're just going to pour this over the top of these cinnamon rolls. Just like that. We ain't going to touch them now. We're going to put them in the oven, 375, for about 25 minutes or until golden brown. Now while the cinnamon rolls are baking, we're going to make us some icing. It's just going to be some simple, really good icing. You can make cream cheese icing too. We're just going to use a cup of powdered sugar, a teaspoon of vanilla, or you could use maple extract would be good. And I've got a tablespoon of butter melted. And I'm just going to put enough cream in here to get to the consistency that I like to put on my cinnamon rolls. So it usually takes about 2 tablespoons. So I'm just going to mix this up good. I like it thin enough that I can spread it, but not thin enough to pour it, but I just don't like it real thick. If you keep stirring, it'll usually get there with about 2 tablespoons. I'm going to put just a little tad more, not much, because a little bit goes a long ways when you're making icing. So that's the consistency I'm looking for right there. So when our cinnamon rolls get ready, I'm going to let them cool off just a little bit, because if you put the icing on while they're hot, your icing will just melt away. So when they come out, well, let's take a little peek. 22 minutes and out of the oven. Purty. Smell good too. Okay. They're cooled down just a little bit. They're still a little bit warm, but not hot. So I'm going to start putting my icing on here. I'm just going to put me a few dollops on each one. Then we'll spread it around. It smells wonderful in here. Hallelujah. 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 Y'all know when I'm tired and I'm hungry for cinnamon rolls, because I get crazy and I sing. Kind of makes you want to sing though, don't it? Y'all, when you make these biscuit cinnamon rolls, the dough is so tender and soft. And yeast rolls, as glorious as they are, they're not as tender as a biscuit cinnamon roll. But they're all good. Mr. Brown's going to like these. Let's see if he'll taste one. I think Mr. Brown approves.